I don't like sitting here. This chair's uncomfortable.
Then get the other one.
It won't feel the same.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. And welcome to TrebleChin Entertainment, a video review.
Yeah!
Me and Drew just got back from seeing X-Men Apocalypse. If you don't know what X-Men Apocalypse is, I'm sorry.
We've obviously done you a wrong in some way.
But X-Men Apocalypse is the latest X-Men film from our baby boy Bryan Singer. And the only person who seems to be able to make pretty solid X-Men movies.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, well,
there's a few people.
Matthew Vaughn did an okay job, but The Last Stand was flimsy as all hell.
Yeah.
And X-Men Origins of Wolverine doesn't count as an X-Men movie.
That doesn't count as a movie.
And the Wolverine, nah.
It was pretty good.
It was good, but it
wasn't an X-Men movie. It didn't really
feel like a Wolverine movie. It felt more like it didn't really feel like an X-Men movie. It felt more like a samurai movie with Wolverine as the center, which
that's not a bad thing.
No, that's what it was trying to do, and it did it superbly.
Yeah,
but wasn't an X-Men movie. But Bryan Singer up until this one was the golden boy of X-Men. Let's see how this one stood up. How do you feel?
Well, I'm a little bit conflicted in it. Mm-hmm. Maybe spoiled is another word.
Yeah.
Because when I look at this movie, it's not a bad movie.
Not at all.
But I feel like it did a couple of kind of major movie crimes for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what are those, Drew?
Well, in this one's case, there was first. It felt unfortunately underwhelming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is really weird considering what occurs in this movie.
Well, and what Apocalypse is supposed to be for the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Apocalypse is supposed to be the thing that unites mutants around the world against a common enemy. And where they messed up was they already kind of did that with Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. And
this one doesn't up that degree.
Yeah, it doesn't up
somehow.
It. And Apocalypse is literally the end of the world personified.
Yes.
Like he is a god amongst men. He is the ultimate destroyer of everything.
Mm.
And they get that across towards the beginning of when we see him. Like there are a few moments, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are a few moments where you see him do some stuff without blinking, and it's just like, holy shit, we're dealing with something we haven't dealt with before.
Mm-hmm.
And up until after the moment when he's in Cerebro and he gets into Xavier's head, and Xavier's like, I've never felt power like this before. Up until after that, it feels like a new enemy. It feels like something bigger and badder and more devastating than we've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts to fall short after that.
I feel like it falls short there. Because, should I tell them about the weapons?
No.
No?
I mean, you can.
Okay. Well, because whenever he gets into Xavier's head, he launches all the goddamn nukes in 1980-something.
Yeah.
Which, if you know your history, that's a lot of fucking nukes. And he just sends him up into space.
Yeah.
Why? I feel like if they wanted him to be like the apocalypse, the end of man, some of those should have come down.
Yes. But that also kind of would have gone against what he was trying to prove.
Yes.
Like, he was trying to prove that the natural world, like mutant kind, things that we don't need machines, we have mutants.
Mm-hmm.
And
which I get. However, like, if they were wanting him to be the apocalypse, the end of all things,
mm-hmm.
and to only do that to one city,
yeah,
but nobody knows that on the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I didn't really have a problem. I didn't really have a problem with the way they did the nuke thing. Like, I think that was handled well. What I don't think was handled well was the supreme devastating event that was supposed to be going on at the end of the movie, which I don't want to say too much about that, but
we'll save that for the spoiler section towards the end of this.
Yeah, the way it is presented in that moment, like in the last, say, 15 minutes of the movie, when
maybe, but it felt longer than that.
When it's when everything's kind of converging and the plan is coming into effect, it just doesn't feel devastating enough.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that,
like, it feels devastating enough if you know some serious science.
Yeah.
And what something like this would actually do.
Yeah.
That's a terrifying thing to think about.
But if you're...
But the way that they present it is not how that would be.
Yeah. This is a movie. Like, in literature, it's okay to tell me that this is an event that is more cataclysmic than anything ever. Like, this is something off the scale of anything we've ever experienced before. You can tell me that, and I get the gravitas of what it is. They told us that, but they didn't show us that. Mm-hmm. And in a movie, you kind of have to show us that to make us feel what it is. Like, words kind of aren't enough at the point, in the way that this movie is presented. And part of what it was, like, yes, the cataclysm didn't feel cataclysmic enough, but also the villains we were presented with aren't developed enough.
No.
Like, even the movie's namesake, Apocalypse, he's just a killing machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just kind of, I'm here to destroy the world, let's go do that.
Like, it's really unfortunate to say, but Ultron was more menacing.
I fucking loved Ultron.
I know. However, like...
And Ultron was more developed. And Ultron is literally a killing machine. Like, he is a machine that kills. But he was more developed as a character than Apocalypse was.
Yeah, but the thing is with him, like, you felt like you could beat him because his physical body would just explode. Or it could be beaten. Yeah. So there was this feeling of, like, yeah, you could beat him. Apocalypse shouldn't feel like that at any point in time.
Yeah.
Until, like, you have done it.
And at the end you kind of started to feel that, like, when they were all up against him. And that's not really a spoiler, it's a superhero movie. They're all gonna go up against the main guy at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's...
We'll talk about that opening scene in a minute.
Fucking great. But no, it's just... It feels
We'll get to the stuff that's good, but first let's warn you.
Yeah, it feels... I don't know. It feels kind of like I'm gonna say it. It kind of feels underwhelming in the same way that Batman vs Superman did.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to say that because there is a very, very, very negative connotation that comes with that. But
they're still good.
Don't
leave.
It's not as
go see it, but it's a different movie.
It's not as poorly executed as that. I feel like what I feel with this movie is similar to what I felt with Batman v Superman, where it was just kind of a bunch of shit compressed and not paced very well.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has pretty decent pacing. Like it
surprisingly,
it moves at a decent clip and doesn't really sacrifice any. Like it doesn't confuse you by going through plot points too quickly. It gets everything out and it gets everything pushed towards you and understandable. My issue is more with presentation, and it's not with presentation with the entire movie, because there's a lot of stuff that is done well. They pack a lot of things into this movie. They pack...
We won't say them all because that would be spoilers.
Yeah, they pack things from multiple different storylines in the X-Men mythos into this one movie. But the only... And most of them work really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that doesn't is the film's namesake.
That sounds familiar.
I'm sorry, remind me.
Batman v Superman.
Oh. Yeah. That movie should have been called Batman Meets Superman. Like, do you remember those crossover cartoons?
Uh-huh.
Like, whoever meets whoever? That's what that movie was. Mm-hmm. That's what that movie was always going to be. And like, and for the sake of the only one that can pop into my head right now that doesn't actually exist, Crash Nebula versus the Crimson Chin, or meets the Crimson Chin, they were gonna fight, but that wasn't what that thing was about.
Yeah.
But we're getting off topic.
But to kind of bring us back, another one of the, like, my movie laws that this broke, and it's not really a bad thing per se, but how it is today, it needed to be different. I felt like this movie, it felt like an old superhero movie. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, old superhero movies are really good.
It did feel like an old superhero movie in the worst possible way, though. Because Days of Future Past felt the same way, to a certain degree. Like, throughout most of that movie, like, the action sequence felt like silly and man in the rubber suity, like, especially all those moments with Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those moments look ridiculous and over the top and kind of silly looking. But I don't know, there was something about the story of X-Men Days of Future Past that kind of made it hit harder.
Yeah.
Like,
and it did.
And that's the thing, like, for all the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, it seems like the fighting is kind of the worst part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the storyline in X-Men Apocalypse is really, really good.
Yeah.
And the social commentary that it presents, that X-Men's kind of always been doing, like, the race stuff and the ethnic group, the religious group stuff, like... Mm-hmm. The things
X-Men does people really well.
Yeah, it does.
It's basically the comic that does people.
X-Men has always been very good at being the most human superhero story.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like where this movie faltered is it tried to be an action movie like the MCU is doing.
I don't know. I feel like it was trying to be more, and this is going to sound weird, I felt like it was trying to be more like a Superman movie from the 70s. In that, like...
I kind of feel that a little bit.
There's, like, a lot of build up a lot of confrontations, and then when the fights happen, like in today's day and age, I expect a little bit more because we've seen the Marvel movies and how like awesome and how big and how like grandiose those can be on just a small scale.
Especially when we saw Captain America: Civil War earlier.
Well, not
this
even
year.
just Captain America. I mean, in like the Amazing Spider-Man, like the fight scene in the school. That's a small scale fight, but
in the first movie,
yeah, like that's a small ass scale fight,
and that's not even MCU. That's Sony.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And like even Batman v Superman, the Batman v Superman part of that movie was up to par in the action,
and that's part of.
And DC has been like the worst about it up until Nolan, and he kind of fixed that because drums were introduced.
Thank you, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hans Zimmer, for teaching us what drums can truly do.
But like I felt this movie, just like you have some awesome characters that you could have done so much with.
Oh my god. Okay, I wanna talk about the Four Horsemen, because we've talked about how Apocalypse felt underdeveloped.
And we'll get back to the action stuff here in a minute.
We've talked about how Apocalypse felt underdeveloped, and that is criminally done. Like
Oh no, that's not criminally done. These guys are criminally done.
These guys are criminally done, but like
these guys are serial character killers.
These guys could have been like more underdeveloped, and I would have been okay with it if Apocalypse was as much as he should have been. Because they got a big name in acting right now to play Apocalypse. They got Oscar Isaac, who in my opinion is one of the best new actors working right now. Well, not really new actors, but like newly
discovered.
He newly had his big break. Like
because he was Poe Dameron in the Star Wars. If you don't know what he was
Poe Dameron in Star Wars, but he's also been in a lot of small stuff that is just phenomenal. He was in Inside Llewyn Davis, which was the first time I really saw him, which is one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies of all time, and he's just he is that movie, and he's just an incredible actor. And same thing in Ex Machina, when we kind of saw him be a little bit more sinister. Like I felt like he could have been the sinister, calm, collective, but devastating villain that Apocalypse is supposed to be. And he's just kind of...
We kind of get that, though, but we don't get enough of it to really feel it yet.
We don't get enough of it, and the rest of it that we get is him yelling about how he's gonna destroy the world because humanity ruined the world. And like, yeah, that's what you're about. I get that, but like, be more sinister about it. Like, make us really understand how this really got to you. Because like, yeah, he wakes up after being asleep forever. Literally forever. Like since biblical times.
Yeah.
And
like 3,600 BC or something.
Yeah,
or BCE.
He wakes up after forever and is seeing all this stuff, like seeing the world that he left. Yeah. That's devastating. Tell me why. Tell me what irks you. Tell me what about humanity has ruined this. Make me feel you. And I didn't feel Apocalypse. Like, I understand that he kind of is supposed to just be the Devastator. But he is still a character. There is still a mind in there. And I wish it was... He
is not a doomsday.
Yeah, and I wish it was explored more. But what's worse is his henchmen besides Magneto,
Yeah.
which Magneto is only developed because he was already developed in the
he
previous
also
two
had
movies.
the opening, and
There
that was great.
there was a moment of him in the beginning of this movie, but if that was all we got, I don't think it would have been enough.
No.
Like, if I didn't have...
This is not the movie to go into first.
If I didn't have the last two, that wouldn't have been enough.
Mm-hmm.
And Storm...
Oh, God.
Storm, Apocalypse just kind of happens upon, and then all of a sudden she is a mindless follower of Apocalypse. Psylocke, we get, like, 2 lines of character development for Psylocke, and basically it's just like, I'm underappreciated, nobody likes what I do.
People don't appreciate your talents.
And then Apocalypse
You
is
have
like...
only tapped into the power that you could be.
And then Apocalypse is like, come with me. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Maybe we'll get more later, but I don't think Psylocke speaks after that.
Nope.
Like, maybe once or twice, but not really.
No.
And that's fucking Olivia Munn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's great. There's a lot of talent in this movie that is just crumpled up and thrown into the garbage.
Yeah.
And Angel, we now have 2 movies where Angel is introduced and nothing is done with him.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Stand, we got literally nothing.
We got him cutting his wings off.
We got him cutting his wings out, rather. And after that, we got... And now we get this, where he's like a mutant in captivity that's being forced to fight other mutants, which is interesting, but not really explored very much. And then we get nothing after that because Apocalypse turns him into, oh, now you have metal wings.
Now you're cool.
Come with me. And like, there's just a lot of come with me, and then nothing else from them. They just kill.
Even
after
Magneto
that.
for a while there. Like,
Yeah.
After Apocalypse finally like brings him in, like Magneto is suddenly like sucked out of all character.
Yeah, which is upsetting.
I mean, maybe that's why this is called Apocalypse. It's the apocalypse of character.
I don't know. It's genuinely upsetting.
Yeah.
And like, there's just
Like,
I had something in my head and now I've lost it.
like, and for like the 4 horsemen, why is Storm and Angel part of that?
Yeah, like
why Angel?
I get Storm on I get Storm on a degree.
But she's like new.
I don't get Psylocke.
If it was old Storm, like Queen of Wakanda Storm, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, which I kind of felt like they might have been gonna do here, but they didn't. Because when I
can't.
But
yeah, it was like even though she had her like power tapped and fully her potential unlocked, she felt weaker than she did in X1.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? And she's supposed to be like older.
Like I don't know.
I'll take that she's younger in this version. Blah blah blah. But
what they should have done is had mutants that actually made sense as the four horsemen. Like, Magneto, I kind of get as
he is a devastating force of nature.
Famine. Like, I kind of get him as that.
I would almost say war.
Or war, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
because metal.
Storm, yeah, okay, yeah. Magneto would be war, and Storm I get as plague.
Yeah.
But, like, give me other mutants that fit famine and death.
Yeah. I
Like I feel like Rogue could be Famine.
Oh, yeah. Rogue could definitely be Famine, but in said X-Men timeline,
And
quotes all about...
Wolverine could be Death.
I don't know if he would be... I feel like... I don't know.
He could be War, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he could be Death because, like, he
Can't die.
he is immortal and a killing machine. That's what Death is.
Especially in this.
Yeah. Well, like...
I mean, we can't say that's a spoiler because they showed that in the goddamn trailers! Fuck you, Hollywood!
It wasn't as bad as the other thing, though.
It wasn't as bad as Doomsday, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as Batman vs Superman because, like, what?
But it's still a bad trend. Stop it.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. We can talk about trailers later, but
that could be our topic for this week.
yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like we're being really down on it. I still really enjoyed this movie, and I still really...
The camera looks bad. I don't know why.
I still really enjoyed this movie, and I still would... I'm still probably going to pick it up on DVD, and I would still say watch it if you've seen the other X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not say if you have to watch one X-Men movie, watch this one.
No.
That is not something I would ever say in a million years. And I honestly would probably say it's the worst of Bryan Singer's X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Because Bryan Singer has done 1, 2, Days of Future Past, and this one.
So 1, 2, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Technically, but we're not counting a few of those.
And I can talk... I can talk about what my favorite X-Men movies are
And
later.
another thing.
But yeah, it's
let's
a fun thing to go see, especially
talk about
if
some
you
good stuff,
get
though, before.
the X-Men stuff. Yeah.
McAvoy is great as always.
He's always been great, and when Fassbender is allowed to shine, he is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he has some scenes in the beginning and kind
in
of
the
middle.
end.
Yeah. But like the beginning parts really hit
Yeah.
because I won't go into detail of what all happens, but there is just like a very sudden feel of
Whoa.
no, don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh, they did it.
Yeah.
And like it's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
that's very, very well done.
Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler in this movie are great.
And Quicksilver
He's back.
Steals the fucking show yet again.
Yeah.
And they somehow outdid
The first
what they did in Days of Future Past. Like Days of Future Past, the moment with Quicksilver, the if I could save time in a bottle scene is one of my favorite scenes in all of film.
Yeah.
All of filmed entertainment. That is so great. And they somehow beat it.
Yeah.
They somehow did the same thing again, but on such a larger scale. And so cool.
What was the song this time?
It was Sweet Dreams.
Okay, yeah. And
it was Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Again.
And it's so incredible.
And
but
it's the look on his face when he shows up and like everything's going to shit. He's like, and he's not really like, whoa. He's like, I gotta say the fucking people again. He just runs off.
Like the funniest part is for me, like he's eating a Twinkie and he's like, huh. drops the Twinkie.
He checks the address to make sure he's in the right place first. And then he goes to save everybody. It's so great.
And, like, all of the stuff that he does is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part where there's this kid in the bathroom, like, combing his hair, and he just shows up and, gives him a Sonic the Hedgehog look, and then takes him.
Yeah.
And there's a pizza on the floor with a dog eating it. He eats all of the pizza and then grabs the dog. Like, all of this ridiculous nonsense that he didn't need to do, but he did.
Yeah. And, like, everything...
Oh, God.
Everything about this movie, like, all the side characters, most of the story... Everything besides what the movie is supposed to be about is really, really well done. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like they just needed to check that one box or make a different movie. Because they did a lot of stuff, and they did a lot of stuff well.
Yeah.
But they didn't do the film's namesake right, and that's unacceptable, almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if I'd have to score this movie, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 6.
That's where I'm about as well.
Because, like, yeah, it's great. It's a fun time, but the thing that is supposed to be the thing in this movie is just falls really, really short.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm real upset. Like, and it didn't have to ruin it. Like, if they made it not feel like it was supposed to be about Apocalypse, made it feel like it was supposed to be about more of the other stuff than the villain, like Kung Fu Panda 3 did. Kung Fu Panda 3 had an awful villain. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not gonna tap dance around that. He is not good. But
the actor's the only good part.
Yeah, but that movie,
still need to see it.
But that movie doesn't suffer from it because it's not about him. Mm-hmm. This movie felt like it was supposed to be about Apocalypse, but did everything but Apocalypse better.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
Yes,
and kind of a glaring one. But go see it if you.
If you're an X-Men fan,
if you are an X-Men
do need
fan,
to see it.
You're gonna love this movie because I love X-Men and I really enjoyed it. And
stay after the credits and don't be a plebe.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people that left.
Almost all the theater left before that, and then there were us, 4 people in front of us, and then about 4 people somewhere up behind us that stayed after the credits because we knew it was coming. It's a superhero movie. That is Marvel with Stan Lee in it. There's gonna be an after-credit thing.
Yeah. No, but, if you're an X-Men fan,
go and see this,
definitely go see it.
If you like superhero movies, you'll probably find at least a few things that you like about it. The Quicksilver one, definitely.
But it's definitely not the incredible punch in the gut that I thought it was gonna be.
Well, it's a punch in the gut, but in the wrong way.
Yeah. But yeah.
Especially since Captain America Civil War happened before this. Basically
what I'm saying is go see it, but don't expect too much, basically. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and share on Facebook. Do all the fun social media stuff.
All those things, please.
If you've seen X-Men...
You've been failing us.
If you've seen X-Men Apocalypse, let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. If you haven't, let us know what you thought of our review. I have been Davey here with TrebleChin Entertainment.
And I've been Drew here with TrebleChin Entertainment.
Take it easy.
Goodbye. All the things.
Meh.
It's too far away. Oh, it's close enough.
Get it.
I got it.
Get it.
I can't.